last time I was here, it was covered in 2 feet of snow, which is great. I'm glad we managed to avoid that one. Anyway, I'm out for an early morning walk. I think that would be advantageous now that I don't have an awful lot of exercise and things to do. So here I am going for my morning walk. Now it is springtime here. Things are just starting to bud out, whereas back home in Alabama, we have, I guess, the beginnings of summer. It probably still is spring, but the leaves are all out. Whereas here, just little buds forming. It's a second spring. Now, one of our neighbors here does have a beautiful, beautiful magnolia tree. Certainly not the same as a southern magnolia, but maybe you have these down south as well. But this one's just starting to bud. So anyway, I told Mark I'm out for a half-hour walk, and if I don't get back, come looking for me, which I really don't see as an issue. I said either that or call me. So, yeah, good to be out walking again anyway. And here, when I got to Alabama, I thought I'd be doing a lot of walking, but it didn't appear to be at all necessary, considering how much work we had to do. So, yeah, back to my walks here, because it is quiet. Now, this mall, I'm walking through a mall which is slated to be demolished anyway. And of course, maybe condos are going up, who knows? I suspect condos. That's what happens here. Property becomes much too valuable for what it is, so they tear everything down. And as you can see, the concrete's not really been, well, the parking lot has been somewhat maintained. It is rough though. But yeah, this place used to be full of cars. Not anymore. Well, I'm back in my old haunts, my old stomping grounds, and yeah, did a little bit of shopping. Decided to get out today to some of the old haunts. Went to the thrift stores. I went to 2 of them today, 1 yesterday. Found nothing until the very end today. And I guess as background, I want to say that while I was in the US, every time I shopped, I was able to get shopping bags still. Whereas in Canada, nobody provides shopping bags anymore. You have to buy these. Let me show you. Well, here's Walmart's version of non-disposable, reusable shopping bags, and that's fine. You know, initially they used to charge you $1 a piece for these, and recently they've reduced them down to, I think, 57 cents. The biggest problem with those types of reusable bags is that you never have them on hand when you need them. And I don't carry a big enough purse, I hate large purses, by the way, to stuff a few of these bags in them. I mean, if you carry a large handbag, yeah, perhaps you can put a few of them in, but I always find that every time I'm at the grocery store, I seem to forget them in the trunk of my car. And then you have to buy another one. Or, if you don't have a lot of items, you can hopefully carry them out to the trunk of your car and then load up the bag. Now, with Costco, they never had bags, so, but you always seem to have bought enough products that you can take the whole cart to your car, empty it into your car, or some people would put them in cardboard boxes, which they supplied for free. So whenever they stocked shelves, they would make all the cardboard boxes that housed all the products available to anyone who wanted them. I used to always reuse these plastic bags for garbage, and I think most of us did. You know, the freebie that we used to get. We can no longer get plastic straws in Canada. And we can no longer get plastic bags in Canada. On the whole, there are the odd place that will still provide them. Well, anyway, today, the last item that I saw before leaving the thrift store, it was packages of plastic bags. And this one is a Peavey Mart. I think Peavey Mart shut down, so perhaps I understand why these are no longer available. I believe they've shut down. There used to be Tractor Supply, then Peavey Mart out west bought all the tractor supplies in Canada. Once again, I'm not sure if they still exist or not. The other version, and there were only the two, was Ace Hardware. And you know what? As I said, I use these for garbage. And unfortunately, you know, they keep telling you reuse, save money, and I used to use the grocery bags for garbage bags, and I always made double use of them. Now, I have to buy grocery bags rather than the store supplying them for free, and I have to buy bags for my garbage. So, having found these, there's 50 in a package, and I paid $2, well, just less than $2 actually, and no tax on them because it is a non-profit thrift store that I went to, so they don't charge tax. So I bought 3 packets. There was a lady who smiled at me and she said, see, people are buying these. Apparently she bought 13 packets of them. And yes, in the long run, it does save you money, but I like the convenience of having a lot of these bags. So now I've got 150 bags available for my garbage, and they are a good size. They are the same size as what I would buy to fit into my garbage can. So that was, like I said, back in the old haunts, looking for deals everywhere. I'm also looking around for certain things that I want to take back down south. I did find my butter dish, and the one other thing that comes to mind is soy sauce. And Mark is very particular about the brand of soy sauce that he likes, so we'll have to take a couple of bottles down with us. As long as these things are unopened, we probably should have no problem. Now, I have no idea what else, but I do have time to sit down and determine, oh yes, this is something that, I mean, everything is available down south. It's not that it's not, it's just that it is not locally available, and you might have to go a little bit of a distance to get it, or you have to order it online. That's the big difference that I found. And I have always liked to go out to the shops, see things for myself, feel the quality of them, know what I'm buying, and I've always had the luxury to be able to do that. But when you're rural, it's not the case so much. Now, all is quiet here. I did take a walk this morning, and I think that I am going to get back into that regiment of doing a 30-minute walk every morning. I was fortunate enough to lose a little bit of inches around my waist with all the, it was a lot of hard work to lose that little tiny bit, and I certainly don't want to put it back. It's not the weight that bothers me, it's where it is. I developed a tummy, and I don't like it. But if I can keep it off by walking, I'll do so. If not, I'll have to work at losing it again when we get back, and I'm sure there's a lot of hard work for us still back there. We've only scratched the surface of what needs to be done, but that's part of the joy. You take something that has been either trashed or neglected, or in our case, I believe it was neglected. I don't know if it was deliberately trashed. I get the impression that it was neglected for probably various lack of income and that sort of thing. So yes, we're hoping to at least bring some of it back, make it a little more comfortable. And yes, if it takes hard work, I mean, yeah, you could always call up contractors, have them all come in, and then carry a huge debt. And we're not interested in that. We're interested in just trying to do that, even if it takes years to get that home back to where we would like. We don't want to carry any extra debt that we don't have to, so it's going to be a long, slow process for sure. I mean, even getting down there and back can be costly. So, yeah. We're still dealing with Canadian funds, which are not worth it's not worth the same money as it is in the US. We always lose about 30% off the top. So, changing that over is a little bit hard on the pocketbook. So we once again, we just try to do as much as we can on our own. And I know that there are certain things that we cannot do. And when that happens, well, that's when you call in experts, hopefully. Now, a number of you have, and not only a number of my subscribers, but even family members had contacted us when we were down there, concerned about the changes that were put into effect for all travelers that were down south for over 30 days. And yes, we were one of those that were affected. Apparently, if you fly down, you are issued what they call an I-94, which is an entry and exit document. But those that went in by land weren't issued those documents. And it was decided that everyone who entered the U.S. should be given an I-94, so that I guess the U.S. knows who's coming in and who's going out. But the dilemma that we had, I mean, when that came into effect, I was a little bit concerned and made calls and did a few things, and you're supposed to register and all of that, and I believe we did register, and I did try to get an I-94, but apparently it wasn't required for Canadians, so there was a lot of confusion. It is required, but the border guards or the border security people did not issue it to us. We went in legally. They had our passports. They knew we were there. They knew that, I mean, there is a place where you can log in and you know exactly what day you went in and what day you go out. And that goes back for 7 years. So it's not as though there isn't a trail of comings and goings and that sort of thing. But with this new law in effect, and I have no issue with it. Initially, Canadians were supposed to be fingerprinted as well, and there was just, for us, the only option was drop everything and drive back up to the border and get this paperwork that they were requesting and then drive back down again, and that just wasn't feasible. And we knew that we weren't going to be there that much longer, so we just wrote it out. And the other thing that I did was call the closest port of entry, which was in Birmingham, and I talked to people there, and they said Canadians don't require it. So this is from the people that are supposed to be handling this, but I suspect that's all being cleared up now. And yes, we will require it. They also told me, the fellow from Birmingham also told me that we can request this I-94, which is just an entry-exit document that you're supposed to have, and you're supposed to carry it with you at all times down there. So I would just put that in my passport and carry it with me. So next time we go down, we will make sure that we have this I-94 form, and everything should be honky-dory. Now, there was no issue with us getting back into Canada. We are Canadian citizens. They cannot prevent you from getting back into Canada. The issue is if you don't do anything according to legal means, going back to the US might be difficult, and we certainly didn't want to jeopardize the ability to go back into the US. So we believe everything is fine. Yeah, I mean, we did everything we can to ensure that we complied with the laws. We did register with online where we were supposed to, and next time we go in, we will get the proper forms. Unfortunately for us, it happened a month after we were already down there. That law went into effect, and certain groups knew that it was required, others didn't. There was still a lot of confusion over it, so hopefully by the time we get down, it'll be clarified as to what the requirement is and if it's needed. So, and as I've been told, I could request it anyway, so I probably would do that, whether or not they want to willingly just give it to us. I believe they give it to you in electronic format, but make sure that we have a copy of it anyway. Now, that might hold us up at the border the next time. Fine, I don't have an issue with taking another 20 minutes, even an hour if it's necessary, in order to be compliant with whatever is required. The last thing we want to do is jeopardize our ability to travel back and forth as we choose. So do we miss our Alabama home? Absolutely. Was it nice coming back? Well, it's definitely more peaceful. I mean, I don't need to renovate anything here, just a little bit of dusting and, you know, the usual laundry and all of that, but there's no work to be done. There's no outside work because I rent an apartment, not even a house. So there's no outdoor work whatsoever, and that's part of the reason Mark and I got pretty lazy. When I had my home, there was always outside work, whether it was in the summer gardening or in the winter dealing with snow and ice, although I don't mind no longer dealing with snow and ice. We left here in February and came back in April. Next time, we will make sure that we avoid the snow altogether, because when we did leave, there was a 2-foot snowbank. At least 2 feet, no, probably closer to 2.5 to 3 feet when they pushed all the snow aside so that it cleared the roads. And yes, it's been nice not having to deal with snow. And we've come back to another spring. It's, you know, I mean, we just went through spring in Alabama, and I've come back to spring again here. Trees are just beginning to bud, and my garden will be open next month. I did pay for the plot for this year. I knew I'd be back for the summer anyway. Whether I wanted to or not, we expected to be back. And even if we didn't, my son could have looked after that plot and made use of it, you know, himself. So I paid for it this last time. It may be the last time, hopefully it's the last time, but you never know where life takes you, and you know, how many times we have to come back and forth before we don't anymore. But yes, we do miss our Alabama home. I miss it terribly. I miss the privacy. I miss the land. I miss the houses. Needs work. And this is much cleaner, I'll admit that. I mean, I was doing laundry every day after all the work we were doing, well, every second day anyway. Here I probably don't have to do laundry for a week, even maybe 2. But once again, that's a bit of the issue. You just get very complacent with not having to do much of anything. And I'm afraid that Mark and I are doers, where we don't like to just sit back and watch television. So that is a problem for us. Now, the other thing that I want very much to do is to establish a pantry down south. I do have one here, and I don't know how much more I have to load it up here. Certainly I will be adding to it here, but the main goal is to be adding or developing a pantry down south. That's very, very important to me. And with respect to that, I did bring a whole bunch of canning supplies, jars, lids, rings, my canner. I do have a second canner. Actually, it belongs to my daughter. She loaned it to me as to be able to use it as a secondary, and she's never come back for it. So it's hers is pretty much brand new. I will be using it up here. I'll probably be making Mark some chicken stock, even though it is not going to be his daily. I mean, that was a winter thing. He needed his chicken stock every day for the winter. But for now, we'll probably make chicken stock for cooking purposes, mainly, if I can keep him away from drinking it every day anyway. So, on the other hand, I don't mind making it and keeping it in the fridge. I don't want to can up a whole bunch of it and just have it go every single day. But that's fine. But I do want to top up the pantry. I've got to look and see what we need. But the main thing is developing a new pantry down south, because we don't know where things are going to go. I mean, we're very concerned about the election here in Canada. Unfortunately, Trump's calling Canada the 51st state has scared a lot of people. I know that he was trolling Trudeau more than anything else. That's my gut feeling, and I believe that that was the case. But unfortunately, a lot of older people took offense to that and may vote for the Liberals again, and that is the main worry. And if they do, Canada's finished. Canada's finished. So we'll know Monday. The election is on Monday. Mark and I have already voted as soon as we came back, because there was a window of days where the advance polls were open, and I understand over 7 million people voted in the advance polls, and that was a record. And hopefully that means something. And they say that if that holds out, and if you have the same percentage of people actually voting on voting day, that probably 75% of the population would be voting this time around, which is incredible. I think that that is larger than it's ever been. So fingers crossed that we don't do something stupid here in Canada. But if we do, I'll do my darndest to make more changes for ourselves. Anyway, we'll just have to see what the outcome is on Monday. So that's it for now. Looking forward to getting some figs when I get back down south as well. Anyway, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Keeping in touch. Wish us luck on the election. Thanks. Bye for now.